Part 2, as you can see, we've got this thing tore down and we're gonna split the crankcase, but before we do that, we've got to clean it up. We're gonna use this gunk engine cleaner and degreaser and see how this product works. And we've taken a little bit of time and we cleaned up the crankcase and the other parts. Now that we've got it cleaned up, we're gonna continue working. Now we're removing the bar plate. Now we're going to take out the chain adjuster. Now we're going to take out the oil pump, nice and easy. It just pries right out. We'll go ahead and inspect this and clean it. We're down to the worm gear. Okay, the first thing we're going to use is a 3/4 by 1/2 inch hex bushing. And we screw that down. The next thing that we need is the reducing coupling, which is 1 inch by 3/4. Our bolt is not pointed, so what we're going to use is a ball bearing to place on top of the crankshaft. And the next bushing we're using is a 1 inch by 3/8. Now we're going to insert our bolt, and we don't want that ball bearing to fall out because that could damage the end of the crankshaft. So let's see if this works. So now we're going to twist and turn this thing and hopefully it comes off. I think it's working. We'll go ahead and remove the worm gear. And it looks pretty good. So now we're going to remove the crankcase from the fuel tank. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take this piece off. Alright, the first thing we need to do is remove all of the buffers. Just get a small pair of pliers and it should pull right out. There's one more buffer underneath the chain catcher, so we'll need to take that off first to access it. And this chain catcher is kind of worn down, so we'll go ahead and replace that as well. The crankcase pulls right off. Fuel hose still looks good. Fuel tank is intact, no leak. We'll clean this up and reuse it. Now we have everything cleared from the crankcase. We'll go ahead and start removing the bolts. Now we've removed 7 bolts. You want to double check to make sure that you're not missing one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get the crankcase hot and then we'll gently tap it apart. Warning, contents may be hot. So now we got this apart. We'll go ahead and tap the seals out. We'll use a deep socket to tap out the oil seal. The oil seals will both be replaced. Okay, we've got the crankcase split apart. I got the crankshaft disassembled. We see we need to replace the bearings. We're going to get the crankshaft cleaned up. And we noticed here that the gasket is going to need to be sanded down, so we'll get some fine grit paper and do that. We're going to get the grease all cleaned up, and that'll be part of our next video. Bobby out. We'll see you next time.